Hey guys, it's Belinda. A while back, I got a request to create a Dynamo script that would hide the north arrow on Revit sheets and title blocks that don't need it, like sections, elevations, and details. Usually, people have two title blocks to deal with this issue, one with an arrow and one without an arrow, but that's just more to keep up with. So I'm going to show you two ways to solve this problem, one by using an instance parameter and one with a Dynamo script. This is a follow-up from my last video. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it up here. Okay, so let's begin. So here's the north arrow family that I built, and this is the instance parameter that controls the angle of this family. We can change the angle from 0 to 45 and everything rotates with that reference line. Now let's create another instance parameter that controls the visibility of all these elements. I'm going to select all the lines in this model and the text box, and I'll go to Visible in my Properties panel and click on that little gray rectangle on the right. Over here, I'll create a new visibility parameter called Viz, and it'll be under the Visibility Group parameter. When I'm done, I'll hit OK, and now under Family Types, you can see a new Viz parameter was created below the Angle parameter. I'm going to test this north arrow family out on the sample project that comes with Autodesk Revit. But instead of loading it directly into my project, I'm going to open up the title block and load it in there. So the north arrow is going to be loaded into the title block instead of the project. And I'll place it in the lower right-hand corner. The angle parameter and the visibility parameter was brought into this title block family. I'll load this title block family into my project and overwrite the existing version. And you can see on this cover page, we now have a north arrow. But the issue is that we cannot control the angle or the visibility of this north arrow in the properties panel. It's just not showing up. And the way to solve this is to go back into your title block and basically transfer the angle and viz parameter into your title block family. Let's click on the little gray box in the properties panel next to the angle parameter and create another instance parameter also called angle, which will be under the group category dimensions. We'll do this with the viz parameter as well. It'll be an instance parameter under the visibility group parameter. Now our angle and viz parameter should transfer back to our project. Let's load it into the project and overwrite the existing title block. And now you can see in the properties panel, we're able to change the angle of this north arrow from 0 to 45 and even 90 degrees. And if you scroll down, you'll see the viz parameter as well. So when you click on it, the entire north arrow turns off. But since it's an instance parameter, this north arrow is only turned off on our title sheet and not on any other sheets. What I'm going to do now is go through every single sheet and turn off the arrow whenever I don't need it. So we obviously don't need it on our title sheet, but I'm going to leave it on our site plan sheet, and it's going to be pointing straight north. On our plan sheet, I'm going to change the angle to 323, which is how much this project was rotated from the base point. On our elevations and section sheet, I'm just going to turn it off. And I'll do the same with our elevations, sections, and detail sheet, as well as the elevation and stair section sheet. However, on the last sheet, our reflected ceiling plan, I'm going to leave the north arrow turned on. Now this was kind of tedious, especially when you have a lot of sheets to deal with. A better way to do this would be to identify all the plan sheets that need it, which are 3 sheets in this case, and turn off the north arrow on everything else. And we can do that with the Dynamo script, which brings us to the second part of this tutorial. I'm going to go to the Manage tab and start a new Dynamo script. The first thing I'm going to do is create a categories node and switch this Dynamo script from automatic to manual. And I'll select the title block categories. I'm then going to look for an all elements of categories node. So I'm able to access all the title blocks on the 7 sheets that we have. And when I run it, you can see that 7 title blocks were extracted. Now I'm going to extract the parameters of these title blocks with the element.parameters node, as well as the watch node, so I can see the name of the parameters. So we need the viz parameter as well as the sheet name parameter. So what this Dynamo script is going to do is read all the sheet names in your project, filter out the ones with the word plan in it, and leave the north arrow turned on those sheets. For all the remaining sheets, we're going to turn the north arrow off. Next, I'm going to create an element.getParameterValue by name node and link it to all our title blocks. I'm going to use a code block to access the sheet name. After that, I'm going to create a string.contains node and link it to all the sheet names. I'm going to use a code block to search for the word plan in all the sheet names. Now we need a list.filter by bool mask node to separate the list of sheets into two, one with the word plan in it and one without. So you can see that we have 3 sheets that are going to be filtered out, which have the word plan, and then 4 sheets which don't have the word plan. Now we need an element.setParameter by name node, as well as a code block to access the parameter viz. We'll use a Boolean node to leave the north arrow turned on all the plan sheets. Now let's copy all these 3 nodes over for all the non-plan sheets. And for those 4 sheets, we'll change the Boolean from true to false. Now when we go back to our project, you can see that the 3 plan sheets, the site plan, regular plan sheet, and the reflected ceiling plan still have the north arrow, but all the other 4 sheets don't. And this is very useful when you have hundreds of sheets to deal with. You don't have to manually turn them off on every single sheet. I'll provide a link to the north arrow family and the Dynamo script in the description below so you can download them. If you have suggestions for any Revit tutorials, leave me a comment below as well. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, I'm Belinda. Thanks for watching.